Hey everyone, welcome again to my channel. Today I'm taking you with me to a new edition of Factsval. But before we go to Flanders Expo, if you're new to my channel, hi, welcome to Quillscene. My name is Megan. If you like things that have to do with reading, with writing, with books, with my adventures as a writer, with fantasy, with geeky stuff, with Wicca, with magic and witchy stuff, you're in the right place. Make sure to click on the magical subscribe button and don't forget to hit that bell, because on that way you'll always get a notification whenever I upload a new video. But yes, Factsval 2024, it was quite an adventure, and that for multiple reasons. So for the ones who have been following this channel for a while now, you will know that Facts is an event that I've been doing for quite some time now. I've not been doing it on my own because we usually take a booth along with my fellow writers from my Writers Collective. And yeah, it's also one of the most expensive events that we do because booth prices are quite steep, in my honest opinion. And Facts has always a spring edition and then a fall edition. So first of all, thing that was new in 2024 is that the previous years Facts were usually hosted at the end of October, and now they decided to do it. Was it the end of, well, somewhere in October? Usually it was hosted. But for the edition of 2024, after the spring edition, they did a little questionnaire among their visitors and also among their vendors, with the question if the date being in October, if it was a good date, or if you as a visitor or as a vendor preferred another date. And that's why suddenly they decided to postpone Factsval to the beginning of November. So the edition of November was on the 2nd and the 3rd of November. Which is okay, I guess, because it's the end of autumn break. But it was also a bit difficult in my family because where I live in Belgium, we still have the family tradition to visit the graves of the people we lost on All Saints Eve and stuff like that. Day of the Dead, stuff like that. But then, the Western version of it. So yeah, we had to postpone doing that because, on the 1st of November, we had to go to Ghent already to set up, and then the 2nd and 3rd of November was the actual event. So that was a bit, a bit of a downer, but still, we made it work. So we postponed our celebration. Well, it's not really a celebration, it's more like a moment to think about and remember the people we lost. We did that later on in the week with our family, after Facts. What else was new this edition? So as I mentioned, Facts is the most expensive event that we do with the Writers Collective up until now. I have to speak with 2 words, but still. And that's why I decided to start a conversation with our contact person within the organization of Facts. You have a few people who are responsible for the contact between vendors and organization. And I decided to, shoot an email. I also spoke to her on the event itself, to our contact person, saying how the booth prices are for the moment. I understand that when you have a store or an actual business behind that sells Funkos and Loungeflies and Pokemon cards and God knows what there is to sell in the fantasy fandom. if you have a store like that, you know, you have more revenue. But being a writer, yeah, that's more difficult, because most of the writers have to buy in their books at quite a high price from their publisher, and then sell those books at the price that was put in their contract, causing that they have like a few euros profit from that sale, from one book. So as an author, especially like if you are an author on one of the booths of the Writers Collective, you work for your own money bank, to say it like that. So you work for your own. We, as the Writers Collective, we don't take a commission or anything. It's just, you know, all the profit goes to you. But still, it's a really small margin that you make on each book. So you have to sell, even I think if you sell 20 books, you don't get the entire money that you invest to be at Facts. You don't make that back, let alone make profit on it. So I told her, you know, I don't know if it's possible, but, you know, talk to your bosses, because if it continues like this, because the price is also kept going up and up and up, at this moment we are slightly drowning already. And if it keeps going like this, at one point we as authors will have to say, we're sorry, but we can't take part in Facts anymore, as vendors at Facts anymore, because it's too pricey. We don't make enough money to, you know, be at the event, let alone make some profit of the event. So yeah, she told me, send me an email after the event with all your points, with all your problems, and also points to defend those problems. And then I'll go talk with my bosses, because you're not the first author who says that to me. And yeah, if we lose the Writers Collective along with some other bigger players, we lose all our players that are publishing Dutch native fantasy books. And that is a big part of our fantasy community here in Belgium. So it's also a big part of Facts that we will lose. So that all happened like right after the spring edition. So somewhere, was it before the summer or after the summer, I got another email from her. And then she told me that because before all this, our booth usually was in like one of the, Flanders Expo has like one main hall, which is called Hall 1 or the main hall, which is the big hall where you enter. So the layout is like, this is the main hall. And then you have like at the sides, at each side, 3 smaller halls. And then at the middle one at the left, you can also have like another hall behind that. So it's a lot of combinations possible, but usually Facts is like the main hall and then the 6 halls at the side and then the extra hall. And our booth usually used to be at one of the side halls, hall 4 if I'm not mistaken. But in that one email, she told me, I talked to my bosses and we have decided that we are going to make a corner in the main hall and we will going to call that the reading realm, and that we basically put all booths that have to do with books in that corner, so that also it's transparent to the public that if you want books, go there. And we are looking into like doing something about the booth prices there, like a lower tariff, in the hopes that it, you know, will be enough to keep our Belgian authors, well, Belgian and Netherlands authors, Dutch native authors, to Facts. And that's how we ended up with a booth in the main hall in the reading realm for Facts Fall. So that was also quite a new adventure, as I said, because of course the main hall, most people pass through the main hall. Not everyone goes through the side halls because those side halls are usually specifically themed. You have one that is specifically for the cosplay. You have one that is specifically for photo moments. You have one that is specifically for the food market. So not everyone goes to every side hall, but mostly in the main hall they usually, you know, venture through. Yeah, we were quite curious what it was going to give. And for once, what was also fun of being part of the main hall was that there was no booth drama, because the previous editions, for the ones who haven't seen my videos, please go check the videos before this. Usually when we would come to our booths to set up, like the day before the event on Friday, when we would arrive to set up our booth, like on our booth would be marked like on the floor, like from here starts your booth and there it ends. But usually on that part of the floor there would be either, we already had like machinery parked on our booth spot. We also had, like, when we arrived there would be like a big pile of garbage, like plastic and cardboard and paper and God knows what, all dropped on the space where our booth should go. So yeah, for once that wasn't the case. We had a nice clean, you know, space to put on, well, to place our tables and to start packing the car, because on Friday you can drive into the halls with your car. So you basically park your car in front of your booth and you just, you know, start unpacking the car. Really, really fun. Really handy too. So yeah, and that's how we ended up actually basically in the main hall as the Writers Collective, which was very fun. Back to the event itself. As I said, it was, whoops, not against my stative. So it was on Saturday the 2nd and Sunday the 3rd of November 2024. And on Friday the 1st we went to set up our booth. And the event itself started both on Saturday and Sunday at 9 a.m. for the VIP/early birds and at 10 a.m. for the regular visitors. And then at Saturday it ended at 7 p.m. and on Sunday it ended at 5 p.m. Of course, I wasn't alone there. As I said, I went with my Writers Collective. So I myself with my books was there. My mom with our magical treasure products like our distilled potions and bookish goodies was also part of our booth. But also colleagues Petra Doom and Dimitri Balcaen were part of our booth. And then right next to us, because we had asked for our vendor spaces / booths to like flow into each other, was also Nele and Lynn from Lucky Duckling, who are friends from ours, from the collective and from us personally. And they are they sell meat and honey candy and stuff like that. So yeah, that was fun. We also had some other partners present at FACT, but they weren't part of our booth because Mathias Maho, who is also a member of our Writers Collective, was also at FACTS, but he was one of the authors on the booth of Zilverspoor, which is his publisher, because as an author, when your publisher is present at an event, they usually opt that you as an author come sign, you know, do a signing session on their booth, than that you go with someone else to have a booth of your own. And then also Jelmer from Heroes on Paper, Helden op Papier. He, for the first time, had taken a booth at the Creator Zone in Hall 8. Because normally he would also be at our booth, but he, of course, writes and sells D&D manuals, so Dungeons & Dragons manuals that he wrote himself in his own made-up Dungeons & Dragons world. But the thing was that not every D&D content creator or people who played D&D found him at our booth because the most, as I said, Facts has a lot of themed areas, and the most D&D content was present in the Creator Zone in Hall 8. So he figured that he had one of his colleagues that also is a D&D content creator. He was looking into taking taking a booth at Facts, but then in Hall 8 for the content for the Artist Alley, the Creator Zone, that was the name. Sometimes I mix up all the names of the zones, but in the Creator Zone, he had asked Jelmer if he was interested to take a booth among them too, so to share one. So Jelmer was in Zone 8. What else can I tell you? Oh yes, of course we did some panels again. That's also a tradition when it comes to Facts. We try to give one panel each day. And on Saturday, Petra was the moderator, and our panel was named Season of the Witch. So we talked about the figure of a witch, but also witchcraft and Wicca, how it is presented in today's culture, but also like in TV series, in movies, in books. And it was a very fun panel because Mathias and I are both practicing witches, so we could also, give like the perspective. Tripping over words again. Yay! So it was fun that we could also, give the perspective of, as a practicing witch, how do we see, what is our view on how the modern witch is depicted in TV shows or in films or in books and so on. So that was a very fun panel. And then we also did a panel on Sunday, which was in Human titled, which was basically a panel about, using other species than being a human. So inhuman species like a witch, but also dragons, wizards, aliens, werewolves, vampires, all the fantasy creatures. How to use those in stories, but still make them human-like. Because, of course, as a reader, you want to have that emotional connection to the characters. But if they are not human, how do you, as a writer, put on a good character on paper that your reader can connect to? So, that was very fun. There was a slight change in it because previously we did panels of an hour, and this edition we did panels of 30 minutes, so only half an hour. And since on Sunday there was like a really small crowd, I think we had 5 or 6 people at our panel, and 2 or 3 of them were English-speaking listeners. So we asked if the others were okay with us doing the panel in English. So that was also the first time we did a panel in English, which was very cool. I didn't trip over my words like I'm doing now, so that was also good. Again, I'm filming this months after the event, and at the moment it's like close to midnight. So I'm getting tired, and when I'm getting tired, it's hard to like think and pronounce words in a language that isn't your mother tongue. So sorry if I trip over words. That's the reason why. But yeah, as I said, it was a very busy weekend actually, because the Reading Realm was new, and a lot of people came to our booth to, not only to our booth, to the Reading Realm in its whole, to discover this new corner of Facts, but also to our booth to discover new books, and that's why I didn't have much time to go around. So a little shout out to Mathias, because he also makes vlogs. So a lot of the footage that you will see next is actually filmed by him. So thank you, Mathias, for the footage. It helps me out a lot. And that was facts in a nutshell. Yeah, as I said, quite a busy weekend because at moments I couldn't even leave to go to the bathroom. My mom and I had to like time, like when she would go to get food, I had to cover my own side of the booth with my books, but also the side of the magical treasures, which was okay because my mom had made sure that everything was priced, so I knew what to do and you know, everything. But you know, when I had to go to the bathroom or when I wanted to go film, you know, she could tell people about my books, but when they wanted to buy a book, yeah, they of course wanted to have it signed, and my mom can't sign in my name. So yeah, that was a bit of a hassle. So I didn't leave the booth much. Again, thanks Mathias for filming, because otherwise there wouldn't be a vlog about this. Yeah, it was a very fun edition. The Reading Realm experience was also very fun, very successful too. So I can only hope that for the next edition it will evolve more and more, because yeah, I can see a lot of possible growth and positive growth in it. And yeah, as usual, as I already mentioned, we also gave panels, and those panels I also videoed. So after this video I will normally post them also. So this one on Saturday is just in Dutch, but the one on Sunday about inhuman creatures and how to write them is in English, but I will put that clearly in the description and like the thumbnail and stuff like that. So in case you're interested in those, you can also watch them, but those I will upload after this video. But yeah, of course, we didn't leave the booth much, but we did speed walk like sometimes 20 minutes across, like we crossed whenever, like really crossed, like fast walking and stuff like that, because we knew we couldn't leave our booth long. And also the cell phone reception is horrible in Flanders Expo. So whenever my mom tried to call me or I tried to call her or even send a text, it was horrible to get it through. So we always, like, if one of us wanted to walk around or take a break to go to the bathroom or get food, we would always say like 20 minutes or 30 minutes and then you're back. My mom, of course, had the luxury to take a bit more time than me, but we did some shopping, of course. First things first, the first thing I went to buy was actually even before the doors opened, because as I said, Jelmer wasn't part of our booth anymore. He was part of a booth with a Dungeons and Dragons content creator colleague, and they were in the the creator zone. Again, I'm messing up the name, the creator zone in hall 8. So again, layout, if this is the main hall, then you have like at each side 3 side halls. And to get to hall 8, the creator zone, you had to, like, here was the reading realm. You had to go like this, and then you had to go through the middle hall of the side halls, because that one was the food hall. You had to go through that hall. After that was like a tent to cover the outside, because there was like a part outside before you could get to hall 8, which was the creator zone. So yeah, it was quite a walk. Again, I was fast walking because this was before 9 o'clock, and I knew from 9 o'clock I had to be back at our booth. So I was like fast walking to the creator zone to get to Jelmer's booth, because Jelmer had just released a new adventure that I didn't have yet. And his newest adventure is called De Nachtmerrie op Maskerade, or The Nightmare on Masquerade. It's in Dutch for now. He is also working on an English translation, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, it's again in his own D&D world, being the world of the broken light, de wereld van het gebroken licht. And it's basically, yeah, a D&D one-shot. And it's like the like you have your Dungeon and Dragon handbook and manuals. It is, you know, a manual to do a one-shot. So this is mostly used for or by the Dungeon Master. This one basically is that the party of adventurers gets invited to a masquerade, a masquerade ball, a masked ball. And everything is fine and everything is happy until the clock strikes 12. And suddenly the nice fantasy dreamlike ball turns into a nightmare. So yeah, I got the booklet, and he also has the option to get the physical maps of the location that you can, you know, place on a table when you play. He also has these digital, by the way, so if you play online, you can use those. I myself am a D&D player, not a dungeon master, but of course I like to support Jelmer, plus my brother loves reading through these manuals. And again, it's also, as a writer, actually a good source material for your books, or to write like adventure-like storylines. So I got one of his adventures. I'm going to put the maps inside. My second buy was at our own booth with Jelmer's wife, Petra, because she had Full Facts Fall. She had brought out a novel that she actually, this one she wrote for, I think it was an e-book story bundle with like winter stories for her publisher. It was only like, as I said, in ebook form, so no physical form. That ebook, like the circulated for a few years, and then afterwards it stopped circulating. And then, as an author, like within a year, if I'm not mistaken, you get your author, well, your rights back. So then you get basically the freedom to do with the story whatever you like. So she took that story, revised it a bit, and then, you know, put it into a physical little novel. It's called Het Winterpaleis, or The Winter Palace. And again, beautiful illustrated cover. And also I'm going to show you, if I'm not mistaken, yes, she has like beautiful chapter headings, and like little decorations at the side. Also it starts with a little song lyric that she wrote. There is also a little postcard with it. So yeah, this was her newest release, and I have all her books by now, so this one couldn't miss in our collection. So that were my first buys of the weekend, and that was even before the doors opened. Then my mom went to walk around on the second day, if I'm not mistaken, that it was on Sunday. She went around on when it was a little, like right after, yeah, around 12:30, if I'm not mistaken, so right around noon. Then usually it slows down because most people, you know, go to eat something, stuff like that. So my mom was like, I'm going to take a walk around, and, you know, I'll be back like within half an hour. And she found a booth that sold the Disney statues, and she is a huge The Nightmare Before Christmas fan. And they had one of the statues with like a percentage off, so that it was, yeah, in sale basically. Of The Nightmare Before Christmas, like a really big statue with all the characters. So she bought it. I will put a picture right here. She got that. What else did we get? Then she also found a booth that sold these the the blind boxes with the vinyl figures. But on that booth, in that particular booth, they had like unboxed a few of the blind boxes as so that you basically could pick which one you wanted, so that you knew which figure you got. My mom is also a big Kitsune fan of like the creature, the nine-tailed fox. My mom also loves the color blue, so when she saw this little Kitsune figurine with, you know, blue in its color scheme, she had to get it. So she also got that one. Those are, so both the statue as the Kitsune are now part of her room decor in her bedroom. And then she also got the Korean ugly cookies. That's a booth that is at Facts every time. And it's basically a small bakery that makes these giant cookies with like marshmallows and stuff in it. And they are called Korean ugly cookies. And my brother is a huge fan, so we usually take a bunch of those for him as like a souvenir. Can't show you those because yeah, those didn't survive like 3 days after the event. They were all gone. So mom got also those for my brother. And then like the last hour and a half before the end on Sunday, I decided to do a quick walk around to, you know, see if I also got saw some things that I wanted to buy. And the first thing, well, no, that I didn't buy on Sunday evening. That I bought on the same moment I got to the Creator Zone for... So Saturday morning, when I went to the Creator Zone for Jelmer's adventure, I passed a booth that sold jewelry, but with dragon theme. And she made like ceramic dragons that she incorporated in jewelry. And I saw this. So it's basically a necklace, and the pendant is actually a sword, a metal sword, on which she sculpted in ceramics a little dragon. And the color scheme is white and blue. Now, for the ones who don't know my books, in my Music Academy books, I have a dragon called Yura. And she's a white dragon with like highlights of blue. So this is basically Yura. So I fell in love with this design. So I figured, oh my god, I want that necklace. But then I was thinking, my mom will like this too. And my mom, she is a retired nurse. So she's always complaining that she doesn't have much jewelry to wear. Because as a nurse, when you work in healthcare, you aren't allowed to wear jewelry because, yeah, it's just not hygienic when you know, are taking care of wounds and stuff like that. So she never had much like jewelry to go with, and especially not in the fantasy style. So I actually bought this one for my mom, and she really loves it. So she often wears it when we go to events now. So that I bought for my mom. Then back to my speed walking on Sunday evening. There was someone who had like this booth where he made ink drawings of like different creatures, dragons and firebirds and colibris and like all different kind of birds too. And he had this offer that you could like for I don't remember how much, I think was it 10 euros, something like that, that you basically could have like an ink drawing with at the side your name written in Japanese, so in kanji style. Again, my mom loves dragons and my mom loves Asian culture. So I went to get first of all my name, my brother's name, and her name, with then an ink drawing in Japanese. So I will put pictures here. So first up we have my name and my brother's name. I put on mine the phoenix, and my brother got the black dragon. And then my mom's name, that one we still have to hang up, she got the colorful dragon because, again, she loves dragons. And then the last thing I bought, again, not for me, because actually I didn't buy, aside from the books, I didn't buy anything for myself. But the last thing I bought was, again, for my brother. There is this booth that always has like an entire collection of these fleece blankets, but with like this like wool, well, not wool, sheep-like teddy furry thing underneath, so that it's like really warm for on cold evenings. And my brother is obsessed with those blankets. He has autism, so texture of things and like soft things are really his thing. You know, he loves soft things, and especially when it's like it was November, so it was quite cold. So yeah, he always likes, you know, warm fuzzy blankets. So I was already thinking I'm going to get him another blanket because I had bought him one before at the same booth. And I was thinking I'm going to buy him one with a dragon because I knew they had dragon designs. But then I came at the booth and they had this cute little design. Well, not little, because they are rather big blankets, which is also good because my brother, he's not 2 meters tall, but about. So big blankets are a must for him. It was actually a design of a black kitten with like a witch's hat surrounded by jack-o'-lanterns. And because it just had been Halloween. And also, yeah, it's black kitten. We also have a black cat, which is called, well, we have a black cat named Boo, and that's his favorite cat. That's his cat, but, you know, I can take care of it, you know, like that. So I decided to get him that. I took a picture of it because I can't show you on camera because, again, he's probably laying on the couch right now underneath that blanket. And yeah, he was very happy with cookies, and he was even happier with his blanket, which I actually thought it would be, I didn't expect it. I thought it would be the other way around, because my brother and food are like, yeah, it's love on first sight. If my brother doesn't want to do anything, like when we want to go somewhere, the first thing he asks, what is there food-wise? What are the options? If he doesn't want to do anything, you can bribe him with food. So yeah, he and food, it's a love story on its own. So I thought he would be happier with the cookies, but eventually he liked the cookies, but he liked the blanket like a tad better. But yeah, that was his favorite thing we brought. And with that, I think I covered everything. Yes, that was everything we bought at Facts. As I said, another fun edition. Also a very new edition because, you know, the date was different. We had the Reading Realm, which was new. We, for the first time, gave a panel in English. So, yeah, lots of new adventures, lots of new stories to tell that I now all told. So, with that, we're at the end of this video. If you like it, please leave a thumbs up or a comment down below. Your feedback helps my channel grow, and I of course love to hear what you think of my videos. It motivates me also to keep making videos like this. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I see you guys soon for another bookish, magical, probably on the go video. Bye!